Alright, you just bought our SR1 Super Hubs, so we're going to go over a couple of details. When you get them, basically it's going to come something like this. I've already loosened up the bolts. The bolts are a 12mm 12-point socket, so it's like an ARP 12-point bolt. So once you get it, basically you're going to take the bolts out. Alright, so once the bolts are out, basically it's all still going to be together. You're just going to take a flat blade screwdriver and stick it right between the hub and this outer housing and just pry it off. Just like that. So the outer hub will come off. And then our CV's right there. So basically it's a full floater CV, so it means basically it'll go all the way out, all the way in, and it'll also turn quite a bit. So it's real loose, it'll fall apart on you pretty easy. If for some reason it does come apart, there is a couple things. I have one apart right here. So your outer housing, put that aside. Your outer housing, you have the inner star, and then you have the cage right here. So it doesn't matter how that goes in there. Basically just set it in there. I like to put the whole thing in my left hand. I'm right-handed, so if you look at it, you can see it's got like a, on the outside housing, it's got a small and then a big, small, big, small, big, all the way around it. Well, the inside star is the same, small, big, small, big. You can't line up like big, big. If you did that, it wouldn't plunge at all, it would just be real tight. So basically you want to line up the small with the big. And that's pretty much, the cage doesn't matter where it goes. And I'll, with my hand underneath it, I'll just kind of pick it up like that. Kind of line them up and then just stick a ball in there. That'll start indexing it. I'll turn it a little bit and kind of pick it up. I'll just kind of fall in there. So you can see I can just kind of wiggle it in there. This will be good for, you know, if you got some time on your CVs and you want to service them or something, you can pull them apart. Doesn't really matter how they go back together. So see, it kind of gets a little tight. So just keep doing that all the way around. And my last one here. So yeah, just kind of work it up and down and they'll fall in. I've been doing it for a long time, so it's pretty easy, but your first time it may be a little bit more difficult. So you can see it plunges both ways. If you got that index strong, it'd be really hard to get together, and when you got it done, it probably wouldn't want to move at all. So that's how you know if you get done and it plunges good, and you know it's good. So let's set that aside. Alright, so on this one, the back flange is still on there. I haven't taken that off, and I would definitely recommend leaving it on there. You can see that the CV plunges down, and you can get in there with grease. You can get the inside and the outside with grease. I'll demonstrate it on this side. It'll be easier to see in the video. Grease pack comes with it, so basically I just cut the, see I already cut the corner off, just cut the corner off just like that. And just grab it. And you're going to want to start on the inside. I mean, this is how I do it. So push up to it and you can see the grease squeezing to the outside. Sorry. See the grease squeezing to the outside. Just like that. So go all the way around the inside, do it like that, and then I just go around the outside. Same way. So basically I have a grease pushed on the inside and then on the outside. Go all the way around, obviously. I won't do it for the video, but, and then when you're done, just all I do is just kind of wipe this off on the outside till the grease is kind of all inside. And at this time you could flip it around and do the back side same way. You want to grease all the way around the inside and all the way around the outside. So see that coating right there? That's basically how you want to see it. And that's all the grease I do. A lot of people do a lot of grease, and this thing just fills up with grease and it gets all over the place. So those are not fun to work on. Once that's done, there's a couple things you can do. You can see our boot flange and the boot right here. This would go on the back side of the hub. So there's 6 screws that go in right here, and basically just screw it to there. If you wanted, you could do like a clear silicone or something. The flange itself seals pretty good, so we just, you know, in the short course stuff, we just do them like this. Another thing you want to look at, like if you're pressure washing the car, the seal of the bearings right there, so you typically don't want to get the pressure washer right in here, because it'll actually go under that lip and get in the bearing, and it'll prematurely wear out your bearings. So So next I would bolt that on there. You can do the straps before you bolt it on or after. Obviously the big strap goes on here and the little strap goes on here. The little one you have to wait till you get it all said and done on the vehicle before you can put the little one on the axle. So we'll set this aside. So you can put your boot flange on here, you can put the axle through it, and then on the outside you can put the clip on the axle. And then once that's all done, then you can put the hub back together. So what I usually do is grab the bolts, stick it back in there, start them in the CV, just like that, and then you'll want to just take, like I just use a dead blow, and I'll tap, I won't tap it on this table, but tap both sides until it's all the way flush. And then if that back hub for some reason fell out, you want to do the same thing. You want to tap them both in tight to where everything's real flush, and then you put the bolts in and tighten them down. If you try to pull it together with the bolts, you're probably going to strip out the bolts. I definitely wouldn't recommend that. I've seen it a few times. So once it's all together, then go ahead and torque it down. It says right here 45 foot-pounds. So torque all these to 45 foot-pounds. That's pretty much it for the hub. There's a couple things I'm going to show you. These pivot bushings right here, you can see they come pretty hollow. These kits were designed to replace your stock Rhino hubs originally. So the kit, we actually don't sell the bushings and stuff with the kit. So we have kits on our website. It's about 250 bucks. That's why we don't include it, because it's expensive. Here's that kit, and I've kind of pre-assembled one here. Fell apart. So there's a bushing on each side that would go in here, a bushing and then a bushing on the other side, and then the pin goes through it. And then once those are tapped in there, I just use like a little hammer and tap it in there. Once that's tapped in there, then this cap would go on, and that's what kind of seals everything. So you can see there's a lot of pieces to it. You're all said and done, basically that would fill that, and then it would just leave room for the 10mm bolt to go inside. So that kit, like I said, doesn't come with the hubs. You would need to purchase that kit separately. It's on our website. It's the upright bushing kit for the rear hubs. And then these through bolts right here, we torque those to 40 foot-pounds. You'll want to check those and these outer hub bolts pretty much like before your weekend of racing or riding, just to make sure they don't come loose. Once you start getting used to them, like if you check these and they're always tight, then you can start going a little bit more time until you start feeling them get loose, and then you'll know, oh, I can go a couple races or whatever. So these through bolts, some guys never come loose, some guys come loose every time they drive them. So that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call, 480-507-4771. Thanks.